Well, I think you know the answer to that. He's a great leader and a great player. So whenever you take that out of your side, and he's been a constant for us for so many years, that you just get into the rhythms of having him there. When you take a leader like that out, there are going to be some holes to fill. And it's not that we're not trying to fill it; it's just that the hole is quite big. It takes a mammoth effort to lift the team up when you have one of your best player who is unavailable. So there's a psychological aspect as well. But we are good enough to do that, and the two games we've played are probably, whilst we've certainly lost Dhoni, they've been performances that have been well below par from an individual and a team performance. So they've coincided with changing of the side, but they've also been a little bit disappointing in terms of personal performances. They're both pretty sick. They're both unwell, virus and bacteria. I think a lot of teams are struggling at the moment through that. We're looking forward to a 4-day break. It's probably come one day too late, but we've been on that travel play road for a little bit now, so we've got 4 days to recharge, and I think Mumbai benefited from that for the last 5 days, and we're going to look to do the same now. Look, batting-wise, we lost wickets consistently throughout, so the pitch had enough in it to create problems if you were losing wickets. I think the partnership at the front with Rohit and Lewis was quite important. If we were able to keep taking wickets, it might have been 135, 140. Inconsistent but dramatic when it would turn, and we felt it was tough. We did well to drag it back to 155, but we needed good partnerships at the top to minimise the effect of their spinners, and we didn't get that. It just wasn't our day, really. A lot of things didn't really go our way, and we didn't create enough to make them go our way. So it was just pack up and head on. Well, statistically, it shows not that winning the toss and bowling first is a key way to go. There's quite a bit of due out there. We just weren't good enough to do it. The last game was a good example of that, and most of the games we've played here this season, apart from one, have been a good example of that. So once you get a trend of how the ground is playing, it's got to be pretty compelling to change that. In hindsight, it's not a reason or a compelling reason. I don't think so. I think there's comfort when he is there, but he didn't bat in the last game. It was nice having him there, but I think the players are good enough and have enough experience, and that's one of our keys, that when we do have situations that don't go our way, we should have the experience to be able to deal with that. At the moment, we're not. The thing that concerns me is repetitive mistakes. So we're in this situation a few too many times this season. The fact that we're still top of the table is testament to bowlers and individual performances, but I think we've still got team performances left in us, and in some case that's exciting, but you don't want to run out of time hoping. You want to put that into play, and with 2 games left and hopefully finals, then now's a pretty good time to do it. No, the least amount they bat, the better. So I'd rather they didn't bat at all, which would mean your top order's going well. So the teams look at the Sunrisers, they've been dominant at the top. The fact that we've got players down at 8 that can win games is a positive, but they shouldn't face that many balls in a tournament if you're going well. So the fact that they have faced that many balls shows that, 1, the conditions we've played in out here have been tricky, and 2, we just haven't had players in a rich vein of form as yet. Last year we were very lucky to have Raidu and Watson lead the way, with others contributing. I think this year Dhoni has probably been the main contributor, and then Watson, of course, last, and Rayner. So there hasn't been a lot of personal milestones met, but again, the conditions here have been difficult and scores have been low. But I would like the top order to keep being greedy. Mate, that's fine, and that's our philosophy. Watson we benefited from the other day. Everyone calls for change after 5 or 6 games, and I fundamentally disagree with it. I think T20 is a hard game to play and be consistent at, especially when you bat down the order. So we tend to back international players and make calls right at the start. Dhruv Shore knows that, and he is forging his way in a domestic career so far. But I'm not going to hand out opportunities just because I think guys need breaks or the player's not going that well. We've got to analyse why they're not going well and still make a call whether they have the best skills moving forward. And at this point in moving forward, I still believe that is the case. They play international cricket because they're some of the best in India. To chop and change and get into a muddle, you can actually derail a campaign, and I've seen that, and you've seen that many a time, and that's just not our way. So we make calls very early on, and then we back our players to the hilt. And if we run out of time at the back end of the tournament, then we can analyse it and say, well, maybe there should have been an opportunity for someone else, but that could be next year. So I make no apologies to the players about that, because we think that consistency will allow players who are fractionally out of form to get confidence to get back in form, rather than sitting on the bench stewing over it and then coming back still out of form.